still not. I'm still not tired of it. I still like that song.
Oh, good.
Still like the theme song you have over there.
Yeah.
Carol Ann Baldwin is here to answer your questions about your garden, or just to engage in conversation with you about your garden. I sometimes like being kind of a spectator, if you will, listening to you speak to your listeners, Carol Ann. The phone number right now is 622-9622. And good morning, Carol Ann.
Good morning, Larry. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So what is the what is that golden tree? Now it's
Golden
turning.
rain tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're getting that orange.
Yeah.
Pinky
So now it's like
orange,
three colors: green, yellow, and pink, or whatever.
Right. Yeah, the pinky orange. That's just another part of it. The seeds are forming, getting ready to drop there, and then it will be raining trees.
Is this new? I don't remember this.
they've
I think I
been
remember it
around.
last year, but
They've been around for years.
I don't remember this. Like,
Because
I've been
actually,
here
I
a
think
long time.
stores used to sell them. They don't now, but I think they used to.
Oh, so that's why we have them. They were being sold.
Right. They were being sold. Okay, that thing stayed. Just had to make sure I didn't lose something there. No, they're around. They're planted, and again, like I always say, that the golden rain tree that they actually rain trees is that as those seeds drop. If it's not in an area that's mowed and kept manicured,
Right.
all those little seeds, quite a few of them do germinate, and next thing you know, you've got a golden rain tree jungle. And, it's very pretty.
So
they do get out of
when they
hand.
sold them, buying one was like buying 100.
Right. And so there's so many people that go, oh, I would love to have one of those trees. I said, just talk to a neighbor who does. They'll probably let you pull one out of the ground.
The same thing must be true for that elephant ear, because they are all over the
elephant
place.
ear is also another one of those things that can be, invasive
They
or
just
come
don't
up.
stop.
And again,
liked
if
them
you're
for a while.
mowing, the way to control some of that, especially like the elephant ear,
Clippers.
would be cutting off the flower after it comes on, or planting them in a large container. Bury the container
That is
in
a
the ground.
pretty flower, though, that has. on
Yeah.
there.
Oh, it's an interesting. It reminds you almost like the spath. If you know, the peace lily has a similar flower. It comes up. It's hooded. I know that doesn't look anything
Can I tell
like
you what
it.
I think it looks like?
Are you allowed to?
It looks like a urinal to me. Like a fancy urinal.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It has
Like a
its
place to
look.
kind of say,
It
oh.
could be, yeah. Well, it's hooded and they're white. I don't. So now everybody's going to be comparing pictures of urinals and flowers now.
Or maybe even though this doesn't sound like a urinal, it sounds almost like a dish antenna, but an elongated one.
Right. Yeah, it's or it looks like a spathiphyllum flower, and it's on that.
On a what?
Elephant ear, spathiphyllum, peace lily.
Spathophile. Okay.
Yeah,
A
but yeah,
spathophile.
phylum.
Phylum.
SP. Don't ask me to spell it.
There was a news story this morning I want to tell you about. The Florida Wildflower Foundation presented a first place award to a lady named Joanne Mason in Lakeland, I think it was. Gosh, this is a bad website. Anyway, I didn't know people gave out awards for best gardens. What do they do? Drive around the neighborhoods?
Oh, well, sometimes they are. Sometimes they're within subdivisions and things like that, to where you have the garden of the month, et cetera. Or just like when Ocala became one of the tree cities, there was actually competitions. There's America in Bloom.
Did we win? Is that why we got the name?
The Tree City, we had gotten one of those, as well as we were also one of the cities in America in Bloom.
For what,
And
the
for
crepe myrtle?
No, just the amount of well, with that, it was actually adding plants to the downtown, especially area.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, it does. It does. If you go into any cities that have the hanging baskets, and I'm not sure if downtown Ocala has too many. I haven't been through downtown in a couple months. Where hanging baskets that are out there, or large urns and things like that. It makes it more friendly. It makes it more feel accessible.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
plants just do that. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, it really is noticeable.
It offers a cooling. It's many times they're fragrant.
Is it a measurable cooling, or is it just psychological?
It's a lot of that's psychological. If it's
feels
just
cool.
containers
You
and things
think
like
it
that.
feels cooler.
If there's trees, obviously it's cooler because of the shade.
Okay, right.
But
right.
if it's large containers and things like that, there's just a sense of soothing. They've shown studies of bringing plants into the workplace that actually makes people more productive, and whether or not it's because of cleaner air, and filtering out, or just, that sense, that feeling that the plants are there. You may not even notice they're there, but you do.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, it's like, yeah, you're right. You're not even sure you're noticing it, but if you can remember Ocala before they started doing this,
right,
it was kind of like it
was kind of stark,
a dead feeling.
Yeah,
kind of like a haunted
and
ghost town feeling.
Well, in a lot of downtown areas that have gone through some revitalization, you notice that landscaping is a big portion of that. It's not just paint on the facade of the buildings in a downtown area and encouraging businesses with lower rents, et cetera, to get them to come in. It is also, you've got to get the people to come in. Why would you want to come in? And if it's dark and it's not inviting, plants offer an invitation. If you ever notice the entrances to communities, they generally have much ado in landscaping in the front of them, and as a welcoming coming in. You even look at the interstates on the on-ramps and such like that, where they have been more and more landscaped, some of them very ornately, where the name of the town is spelled out in the shrubberies, or down, it was pointed out to me because when we were driving to Orlando, we were talking more than looking out the windows, the other week, of how many palms were planted at one of the on-ramp, off-ramp areas, and it has to be probably,
I think I was on that very ramp you're talking about.
Probably 15 varieties of palms.
Oh, really?
There's a couple hundred palm trees that are being put in that area, and it's just probably because they are something people think of Florida having palm trees, and that they're probably inexpensive for the DOT to put in.
Easy maintenance too.
Yeah, less water needs once to get them established, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just one of those things that it's a welcoming. If you ever notice, you go in somewhere, here at the Paddock Mall. You come up and you've got that nice landscaped area, a shopping center or down the street there that has big electronics store and an office supply. If you don't mind me saying, Shady Oaks.
Oh, okay.
They have some of their medians inside that parking lot are very nicely landscaped and very welcoming into those areas. Yeah. So it's that same kind of thing. And then we take it, and that's where some of these awards, where we go back to that, come from, is that, sometimes there's a competition with them, and that's what we try to do in our own yards.
Well, we had a competition like 2 weeks ago that I told you about. We had to send in a photograph, and I thought, well, that doesn't set with me. You could take a picture of somebody else's yard.
Well, but I think sometimes because you're doing a description as well, it's more than just.
I think the idea of somebody like yourself who knows what they're looking at, driving around and taking notes and just saying, "Hey, this is outstanding. Let's give these people an award." Because as soon as you do that, then guess what happens? Everybody knows about it, and they say, "Oh man, I'm going to try and do this."
Right. And that's it. It becomes a friendly competition within neighborhoods, within subdivisions, and things like that. You notice at Christmas time, they do the big publication. If you're going to have holiday lighting, get it out there. So as soon as, and those who know about that begin to work on their holiday lighting probably now.
Yeah, probably.
And so that they can be within that competition.
The phone number to call Caroline is 622-9622. We invite you to call. Your questions are important. I learn when I hear your questions, and you're not going to learn too much with mine because I don't have too many good ones, I don't think. But go ahead and call 622-9622. We'll take a little break right now and be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Some sun followed by clouds today. Breezy, warm and humid with a high of 85 to 89. Look for a shower and heavy thunderstorm mainly during the afternoon hours. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a shower and thunderstorm around low 70 to 74. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sunshine with a brief shower or two. The high in the upper 70s to the mid 80s. Thursday, mostly sunny and pleasant, high 78 to 82. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, And that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Marion Veterinary Hospital wants to remind you that according to the ASPCA, 31% of dogs entering shelters are euthanized. Visit one of our shelters and bring home a new, loving companion. These animals offer unconditional love, and for each adoption in October, Marion Veterinary Hospital will give a free microchip so that your new friend can find its way home if lost. Call Marion Veterinary Hospital at 867-5553 or visit them just off Maricamp Road, south of Jervigant Park.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my
too.
seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Carol Ann Baldwin is in the studio, and your questions are important. The show is about your garden, your lawn, and perhaps your award-winning landscape.
Landscape or flower bed or whatever. No, I've got a couple things. Well, the one keeps fading out because that screen doesn't stay on. We're always talking about what to do here in the fall, and and I'm a big proponent of the university's website. The Solutions for Your Life has a lot of different ways to access the information that is all research-based.
Solutions for Your Life.
Solutions for Your Life. It's not just
.com?
gardening. Yeah, I think it is.
Solutions for Your Life.
Solutions for Your Life. I just put it in. It comes up. I click on it. It goes there to University of Florida. And it's the IFAS, the Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences website. And a couple of the things. One of them's an Adobe file that was. Everybody's wondering, how do I pick the produce that's going to be fresh for us, eating in season. We get talking about that every so often, that, back in the 70s and before that, if you lived in the Northeast, in the wintertime, there was limited produce because it wasn't produced at that time of year.
Right,
Greenhouses weren't real big in anything, but, here in Florida, you have more variety. But there's a neat, takes your Adobe, reader to bring it up, and it's Eating in Season, Produce Availability in Florida. It's a color graphic. It's really kind of cool. It looks like one of these wheels, with it. So if you've got a good color printer or something, or even just save yourself that file, it's really kind of a neat one. It's Eating in Season. Let me see if it'll take me back to what it was. It was under IFAS Resources, Eating in Season Produce Availability in Florida. You just click on that, and it is actually it's solutionsforyourlife.ufl.edu. It's an UFL edu. But that one comes up on there, and that's really kind of neat because we do have people wondering, and it's kind of funny because here as we come into cooler season, actually cucumbers are coming into season in Florida. So cucumber prices should be coming down. They're not usually that expensive, and I don't know how many how many people eat throughout the week or the month. But, if you make pickles or anything like that, you may find that, some of those are a little less expensive, but it does have that.
Cucumbers and pickles are so different to me.
Yes,
I know it's
even
the
though
same
they're
animal.
the same thing, but under the eat local cucumbers are one of those things that are coming into season from on this time of year.
Do you ever hear that the cucumber skin is supposed to be very good for you, but nobody keeps it on there?
It's because it makes you burp.
Is that right?
Well, you think most any vegetable or fruit that the peel does contain the
part,
most
right?
nutrition.
Except
your
for the banana, right?
You don't want to eat the skin on the banana. Yeah.
It just doesn't seem. Even the monkeys don't eat that meat. That skin.
But that's a different, because actually I think a banana's a berry.
Okay.
Officially, even though it's an herb.
Okay.
And I don't get, let's not get in between the vegetable, fruit, and berries. Those kind of things are. But yeah, it's usually on the outer part. But yeah, most of the time, that's what, if you go with the burp-less, they're not burpless, that they have no burps, but they are burp-less, that you would.
Where do you get the burpless seeds from? From the Burpee Company?
Actually, yes. Burpee does have a burpless. But the seeds usually are much smaller and immature even when the fruit is ripe, because it's between the seeds and the skin. But the English cucumbers, those are those long, really skinny, darker green cucumbers that are usually much more expensive than the regular slicing cucumber. But those ones, you can eat the skin and it's not a digestion issue for later on. It's always, they're tasty, but yeah, if you want to continue to have that salad over and over again throughout the day, most people either peel them and seed them as well. That, just one of those things. But pickles don't do that because they've been processed.
The phone number is 622-9622 if you'd like to ask a question. My yard is just always just so lush. I think I'm just blessed for the last 17 years or more.
Coming into a home that's
It's amazing how long they last, because I honestly don't do anything other than cut the grass. Now I do trim stuff like the elephant ears. They were
you got to cut some of those leaves back, and
they're really cool. I mean, the idea that a leaf can be so big. Does anybody eat that? Is that a food?
No.
Why not?
The root of it actually is poisonous. There are some. The malanga is a different variety, but in order to know you have a malanga, you would plant a malanga. The malanga is an edible root. You find it in the supermarkets. It's usually waxed. It's with the tropical or Hispanic produce areas. You'll find the bonita, the malanga, yucca root, those kind of things all in the same area. But the other ones you don't want to eat because they would seriously put a hurting on you.
Okay.
Believe me, I know.
Sounds like an idea for a prank.
No.
It
It would be pretty rough, especially if somebody was truly sensitive. It took hours to get over.
Oh man, okay, we won't do that prank.
No.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann. Thank you for calling and for waiting.
Hi. Good morning.
Morning.
I've got probably a 20 to 30-year-old camellia bush that's quite nice, but it's in the wrong spot, and I need to transplant it. What's your recommendations as to the best time of year and the best way to try and transplant that? That's a
big tree, big bush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably 7 feet tall, maybe.
Okay. The thing I would do, I would not try to transplant it until we were in true winter, January or so, just because that's going to offer you the least amount of transplant shock. Now, you realize moving a tree that big, you could lose it, because you need to get so much of that root zone in order to be able to successfully get that transplanted. I would probably go through now, maybe, let's see, we're in October, November, December, January, sometime right soon, and go through and probably root prune around, which would be taking your shovel and digging down, straight down, out near that drip line. That's how big you're going to want to try to get on this.
Yes.
And go down and go all the way around that. Get your other area ready for it, because you're going to have a hole as wide as you're doing and as deep, because you're going to, that root zone is going to be massive. It's going to be heavy, and make sure it's not. Is it a japonica? Is it in the shade?
I would say it's in semi-shade.
Semi-shade, like a filtered light. Well, make sure that wherever you're going to put it, it's going to be very similar lighting.
Yes.
Yeah, because otherwise,
and pruning the root zone now will help prepare it for the trauma of moving it in January.
Right, because that'll help to force it to actually begin to create some other feeder roots that are going to help to take care of that when you move it. Because you'll root prune. You could probably come just inside that drip line and root prune, and then when you go to dig it out, you will come just to the outside of that and dig that up.
Yes.
So you might be talking an 8 foot.
After it's transplanted,
Mm-hmm.
Is it a good idea to heavily fertilize or not fertilize, or heavily water or not water?
I wouldn't fertilize it for at least 6 to 8 weeks after transplant. But when you transplant it, you are going to need to water it. I wouldn't say heavily. I would say regularly. That's going to be a good-sized root ball that you're going to dig up and move. And so you're talking probably at least 5 gallons of water about every other day for the first couple of weeks, and then 5 gallons of water or so, maybe a little more water, like every 4th day. Putting that down for another few weeks until we start to get summer rains. The drip irrigation or your micro irrigation isn't really going to be enough, not normally, to get them established.
Right. Good. Well, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
knew you'd know the answer to that.
Well, I'd like keep us informed. I'd like to see how it does, and realize too, once you do transplant it, it may lose leaves. It may go into a serious shock. It may look like you've killed it, but just give it some time to recover from from that transplant. But I think if you root prune it and you can get as much of that root zone as humanly possible, you'll have good success with it.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And you have another phone call, Carolyn, and you also have a minute before the break, so you might have to carry the next call through the break. Good morning. You're on the air with Caroline.
Hey, I got a question.
Sure.
My 11-year-old son wants to start growing a garden of some kind. He doesn't really know what he wants to do, but I can tell you that because he's 11, he's going to want stuff that grows pretty quick.
Right.
What can I do?
What can you do for that?
Talking cucumbers, herbs,
cucumbers, green beans, lettuce are all ones, especially this time of year. Green beans may not get you here as the temperatures begin to cool, but lettuces and things like that. And I hear we got a break. Can you hold over, or I'll just continue on the other side?
I'll hold.
Alrighty.
All right, we'll be right back. Yeah, sorry about that. We'll take a little break and be right back with Carolyn in about 2.5 minutes. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. A nurse infected with the Ebola virus in Dallas gets a blood transfusion from an Ebola survivor as part of her treatment. Nina Pham had looked after a Liberian man who died last week.
In all, the hospital estimates around 70 staff members here had exposure to Thomas Duncan during his inpatient care. Nobody else is sick, but they are now being monitored closely.
Fox's Casey Stiegel in Dallas. A UN medical worker infected in Liberia has died in Germany. An underwater earthquake off the coast of El Salvador.
The quake's epicenter was in the Pacific Ocean, about 105 miles southeast of San Salvador. Salvador. The quake was felt throughout Central America, but there are no immediate reports of damage or injuries.
Fox's Kelly Wright. There are power outages in El Salvador. That quake with a magnitude 7.4. Fox News. We report. You decide.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
500 coffees, $10. 500 coffees, $10.
One word, decaf. When I hear 500 of anything for $10, I tend to stay far away. There is one exception, though. Right now, Vistaprint is offering 500 business cards for $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com. With their premium paper stocks and professionally designed templates, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed.
Yowza, that's amazing!
What she said.
Go to Vistaprint.com today and enter this promo code at checkout, 2211.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
All right, 28 minutes before 10 o'clock. 76 degrees, by the way, here at the Source. And let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin and the In the Garden with Carol Ann. And you continue your phone conversation with the gentleman on the line, waiting patiently. Good morning, and thank you for waiting. You're back on with Carol Ann.
You there? Hey, yeah, with kids, it is something you do want to try to get stuff that's going to grow quick, give some quick satisfaction. How much space do you have? Or were you planning?
A lot.
Oh, okay. Because I know a lot of times going with kids doing what they call square foot gardening. That's a 4 foot by 4 foot area. Gives you 16 1 foot squares. So it gives you the opportunity to do like 16 different things, or 2 each of 8 different things.
Wow,
so that you get a variety, and it's something they can reach into the middle of it. They're not walking through it. It's not going to get compacted. Kind of thing. This time of year, using a trellis or like a tomato cage and doing like snow peas, those are a lot of fun, because they're yummy right off the plant. Radishes, I know some kids aren't big radish eaters, but they are quick. A lot of times lining an area with radishes and planting the lettuce in the middle helps you to thin the lettuce out. Radishes take approximately 30 days from seed to a radish, and lettuce takes again about 30-45 days. For you to get your first lettuces to have a salad. And there's some of those that are already like a mix, so when you put the seed in and it comes up, it's different colors, makes it kind of fun. Your cold season cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, all of those, if you were going to do those, I would start from plants. But they're fun. They do take longer, but they are kind of neat to watch them grow. Bonnie Vegetable Plants actually runs they do it through the schools, but a cabbage contest annually, and you should see some of the size of these cabbages that these kids have grown. So it's something that the kids can have the patience, especially if they want to see how big they can grow one.
Okay, we're mostly sand out here. Go down about 2 inches and there's nothing.
Right.
It's a fight just to keep the grass growing.
Right.
Should I do like an elevated thing and just do some black cow or something?
Yeah, I would come up, get either using landscape timbers, and most of us all start out with sand in a garden, and you can have success with that even though it is very sandy. But if you came up with landscape timbers, or optimum height is about 10 inches, but sometimes that gets a little pricey trying to fill that up with some kind of mix. And you can either go with the Black Cow or just the commercial garden mixes, which contain bark and compost and all that other fun stuff in there. And do a mix.
Great.
Yeah.
Any other tips for watering or anything like that? Go with the regular sprinkler.
You can do a little sprinkler with a hose, especially you don't want to get a whole bunch into it if you're not sure if he's going to be real interested, or if the rest of the family. With something like that size, you can actually just do the watering with a garden hose, and just a nozzle that has the shower end of it, and just water it by hand, because it doesn't have to be watered daily. It'll be watered a few times a week.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I got one other question for you. I got those little piney things, the little accent shrubs. They look like little baby pine trees.
Little baby pine trees.
They're like bushes, but they're real low to the ground.
Oh, the junipers.
Right. I can't stop the weeds from growing up inside of there. I pulled them out, and I put down that black mat, and I replaced everything. And is there anything that I can spray on that'll kill the weeds? Not kill the bush, but kill everything else?
The only one, and I would read the directions very carefully, the image for nutsedge is an herbicide that is one. They don't really want you to spray it over top of them, but if you can get it underneath them and spray, that it's not going. The overspray should not kill the junipers that are there. It's just if you spray from the top, it may brown them or yellow them, though it hasn't killed them. And you don't want to have to go through the recovery on that. But take a look at the label on that. It's the image for nutsedge. It's the only one that I know of that you can spray pretty much right through without the damage occurring, and it can be used around several different landscape plants without hurting them.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow, I never heard of a juniper. Well, after you said it, I looked it up, and I see they're all over the place.
There's all kinds of junipers that are ground
little
covers.
Tiny,
right.
They look like little pine trees.
They can.
Wow.
Yeah, they can. And there's different varieties. There's some that really hug the ground, don't get much higher than about a foot. There's other ones that are actually up 2-3 foot, but are still considered a ground cover. Or you can take them, and I've seen them kind of topiaried, into where you almost kind of fit these into a Japanese garden kind of look. They're not. Okay, my brain just stopped. They're not shrunk. They're not.
Bonsai? Okay.
But they have that kind of look, but kept larger. They're at their full size, which might be 3 feet, but just done into a topiary, which is very interesting.
One guy here has a model train, an outdoor model train. Yes. I have no idea the gauges because
there's some of those are pretty big.
This is the large model train in a garden with these little trees. Wow, that's kind of cool.
It really is. That was a fad that came out probably about 10 years or so ago.
That's cool.
A lot of people were doing that, making villages in a way, and having the trains
this guy has
going
a few
through, and they've got
buildings or whatever.
Yeah, little buildings and waterfalls and lakes and streams like that. Really interesting. Gardening techniques.
It's just exciting listening to him talk about trying to make a garden for his children.
Right.
Too, going back to the first thing he called about. Yeah, that sounds fun.
That's it. It is, and that's one thing. The square foot garden. There's a lot of stuff online about that. You just Mel Bartholomew wrote a book, Square Foot Gardening, and it has been updated. I think last year or so. Another book he had came out. Sort of updated those principles, as well as brought in some how to deal with some of the issues of your soils and your pests and things like that. But square foot, that's great for a family, even if you're new to gardening. It's a box. It's 4 foot by 4
It
foot.
really sounds cool.
It's
4 feet.
two pieces of 8 foot lumber cut in half.
Yeah.
And screwed together. Use a couple supports so that they don't tip over. A piece of landscape fabric underneath that is going to help to keep the weeds out.
Okay.
That's the same
then what,
stuff
you fill it in with-
and then you just fill it in with, your commercially produced stuff, or get you some peat and some topsoil and compost, the cow manure and things like that. Throw it all in
And this is a
there.
good time of year to do that?
You can go ahead and do it pretty much any time of year, but here this time of year, you're gonna, your broccoli, your cauliflower, cabbage, lettuces grow wonderfully this time of year. Spinach likes the cooler season. Carrots, onions. A lot
So
of
here's
stuff we grow.
probably a dumb question, but
Okay.
it's coming from me, so I
That's
get
all right.
excused.
It's a Larry question.
Yeah. Do the roots go beyond that fabric you told about?
Not usually. If you go up a good 10 inches, 10 inches.
Oh, I think you
it's
said the
not-
size of a lumber.
Well, 2 by 10.
2 by 10?
2 by 10.
Okay.
Yeah, use a 2 by 10. And pressure treated is okay. You're not planting in the lumber, and they're not using arsenic anymore
Okay.
to treat for it. It's not gonna kill you.
So you have a 10-inch deep,
10-inch deep
above
box.
ground sort of kind of
Right,
garden.
right, and that contains your soil. Any nutrient you put in, meaning fertilizer and amendments, stays put. The water you put in stays put. Where if you're doing it right on the ground, sometimes this all leaches out and goes further.
So now, in a 1 foot square area, that's where the lettuce would grow, for example.
Right, you can put
How much
9
lettuce?
You can put 9 lettuce plants in a 1 foot section. You can put.
But once it's full grown, you won't be.
Yeah. Well, you're not growing iceberg lettuce, but if you're growing, but they will grow and they will do just fine because they'll shade
Really?
each other. Yep. You can grow 9 green bean plants if you're going with the bush green bean. This time of year, green beans aren't real good. You can grow 9 onions in there. You can grow 1 tomato plant in a 1 foot section.
Okay. So
You
I thought
put
everything was
1
okay.
pepper plant in a 1 foot section. You can surprisingly, in the springtime, you can grow corn and you don't have to take up that whole bed. You grow some of the dwarf varieties.
Dumb question again.
okay.
Ready? Does this violate any homeowners agreement?
I would if you're in
Maybe the front yard.
if you're in a subdivision that has an issue with an HOA or anything like that, just check with them. If it's in your backyard, in most neighborhoods you're safe, but in some of them they may not want you to have it where somebody can see it. Same thing with composting bins and things like that. But if you can keep them, with the raised beds, they're a little more attractive even than just going right in the ground.
That sounds nice, yeah.
But, if you've got a fence, if you've got a HOA, check with them. Just take a look through your things so you're not getting in trouble. I know in some South Florida and California, a couple different places, people have done whole front yards and have been battling with their local communities, but it's kind of like, it's really a cool.
Have a corn field.
I mean, it's the whole
front
thing
yard.
in the front yard.
And you have a caller. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning, Sonny. Yeah.
I did that square foot thing, and I made a box, like you mentioned, approximately 4 foot by 4 foot. And I used like 2 by 10s to make it. And what I did is I started to do it, and then somebody gave me an idea. Fortunately, I was able to lift it up and after I started putting the soil in, and they mentioned put heavy, like a screening on the bottom.
Landscape fabric, yeah.
Not fabric, a regular screen.
Oh.
Because they said some of these, where I used to live up in upstate New York, the not moles, but...
gophers and moles, yeah, probably voles. Yeah.
From underneath and start eating all your plants. And then with the other thing I did was I put in a little bracket so I could put in a piece of pipe in each corner. Mm-hmm. And I was able to get some fiberglass rods, and you can put the rods like in a wagon hoop over the from one corner to the other as you bend it.
Yep.
And with that, you're able to put that screening material to help keep the birds and the squirrels out. The other thing up there is I also ran a heavier screening around the outside because of the bloody deer. They'd eat everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're in an area, and that's true, actually putting the brackets and you say fiberglass rods, the thin PVC pipe works as well.
You can find them with they're fiberglass rods that'll make a nice hoop so that you can put either screening or shading, even shading some plants to get a lot of sun, but...
Yeah, and you can use PVC pipe as well. That works as well. Sometimes that's a little more. Might be a little more available.
Right. Well, anyway, that's my experience, and I found that to work well. But time marches on. I don't do that anymore.
There it does. Yes, it does.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you for your program.
Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut him off. I thought it was time. Sonny, I apologize. You do have another caller, though. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Carol.
Morning. Morning.
Is this a good year for herbs to be planted?
Good time of year for herbs? It sure is. There's several different herbs you can plant right now. If you like parsley, if you like parsley, which a lot of times we think of parsley potatoes. Basil is another one. You're thinking of your tomato sauce. We like to use basil with that. You can plant those right now. Chives, little sour cream and chives with that parsley and that baked potato. We're going to be thinking lunch again here soon.
Good. Yeah.
Garlic, you can plant garlic this time of year as well. Everybody loves a little garlic to go in with that basil and the tomato sauce. Yeah. There's several different ones you can plant that do like the cooler temperatures and the less rain that we begin to have coming into the fall season.
How about sage and thyme?
Sage and thyme, actually, both of those can be planted at this time of year. You can, yep, you sure can. Those you can be using in the Thanksgiving turkey.
Yes.
So all of those are real good for this time of year.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, we need to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Remember, Carol Ann is here for your calls, and we'll be right back with In the Garden with Carol Ann. That's how I should answer the phone right now. Oh, good morning. You're in the garden with Carol Ann?
There you go.
We'll do some more. We'll take some more calls after the break. The number is 622-WOCA, 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Some sun followed by clouds today. Breezy, warm and humid with a high of 85 to 89. Look for a shower and heavy thunderstorm mainly during the afternoon hours. Tonight, mostly cloudy, warm and humid with a shower and thunderstorm around low 70 to 74. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sunshine with a brief shower or two. The high in the upper 70s to the mid 80s. Thursday, mostly sunny and pleasant, high 78 to 82. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements, from damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retooled.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out.
New shows? Check. We are Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is. We are
All right, 10 minutes now before 10 o'clock. Carolyn Baldwin is here to answer your questions. You do have a phone call. By the way, if you'd like to call, that's what we want. We want your phone call, 622-9622. I'm going to use it now. Good morning. You're in the garden with Carolyn.
There you go.
I like that. Yeah.
Morning.
Are you there? They're not there.
You couldn't wait. Well, Larry worked into that.
I tried. Okay.
That's all right.
It's going to be my new way to answer the phone.
There you go. If you can remember that one, yeah. Now, just to go back to that square foot garden a little bit, and these are all hints that you can use on any kind of raised bed. Type of garden is putting those brackets mounted onto the wood where you can put hoops over them. Sometimes you can do it to where you're making your trellis right along, say, the far edge of your garden. So you put your tall stuff up against that, or your pole beans where they can climb up on that. You can also use those, like Sonny said, to put a little shade cover over certain areas of the garden, or even an item that they call floating row cover. Floating row cover is usually used to help prevent insects. Before your plants begin to flower, you're starting little tiny seeds, your plants are real small. It also does help with squirrels and other things that were climbing over the edge of my bed and eating all the cabbages. Last year is that I dropped that side of the floating row cover down to where it was ground level, and they weren't coming through, hence saving my plants from them. But that floating row cover also acts a little bit like a frost blanket. It does seem to keep the temperatures in there a little warmer. And like today, I put it over one bed there at the Ag Center because of the rain that's expected. I have little tiny seedlings that I really don't want beat to death. My carrots are just barely out of the ground, and the lettuces are just barely out of the ground. And I don't want them to wash out. So, because those seeds are so finely sown into the ground, you put the seed on top of the ground and you tap it down. They're planted. Just, That's it.
So, an amateur like me might put more into it than I need.
Yeah, it's real simple. Really fine seed doesn't get buried. Big seed gets buried. But the little ones, it's just sort of put it on there and just make good contact with the dirt. You've covered it up enough doing that, and it's set to go. But using the hoops. 1 year, the gardens have changed a little bit there at Extension, and I only maintain a couple small areas now. But I used to run one that was a 4-foot wide, 24-foot long bed. So it's a little under 100 square feet, like 96 square feet of space. And how much produce you can grow in that area as a constant turnover is amazing. So if somebody has a little spot on a sunny fence or just off a fence in the middle of the yard, wherever, so long as you locate it near the hose, you need it near water. You don't want it so far out in the yard that you're not going to walk out there. Locate it where it's accessible. Same thing if you're planting herbs. Put them where you're going to see them, where you're going to use them, where you're going to tend to them. But the 4-foot by 24-foot is, I'd say for a family, a small family, maybe with young children, you're going to have enough green beans. You're going to have enough, and tomatoes and peppers and things like that in the springtime to possibly even put some by it either in the freezer or possibly can them. In the wintertime, you're going to have plenty of cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower greens. Greens do take up a lot more space because it takes a mess of them to make. That's why they call it a mess of greens, to actually do a pot to have enough. But With green beans, one year I know I harvested over 20 pounds out of one small plot.
Really?
Out of that
25,
out of that 24-foot long bed. And it was over a course of several weeks. But, you weigh them each time. And
are you good at canning? I mean,
I freeze. I don't can. I don't have a pressure canner.
So you really can't store like greens.
I got a freezer. Well, no, I can't. No, greens you would be.
And lettuce,
again,
you can't store them, can you?
You store them in the fridge. Well, that's on some of these items you can plant what we say successively.
Long-term.
Well, we plant successively.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can plant like say 2 rows and then wait 2 weeks and plant 2 more because your lettuce won't all be exactly ready to harvest.
Okay.
Some of the lettuces, the leaf lettuces, we call it cut and come again. You go through with your garden scissors and just snip off a bunch, throw it in, rinse it out in the colander, have a salad for lunch. 2 weeks later, you got more lettuce there. But you've got another patch that'll be ready, in another few days that you'll cut some off of that and salad.
Have you ever done the math as far as the dollar amount compared to buying it in the grocery store?
Well, if you figure one head of lettuce costs you $1.49 or up to $3, you get the romaines and things like that where it's $3 for 2 things, and a pack of seed costs $1.79.
And a pack of seed will produce how many heads?
Probably could feed Ocala and lettuce.
Really?
Yeah, the amount of seed, the seed for lettuce is so fine that you get this little teaspoon, not even that amount of it, and there's enough seed there to plant.
Wow.
I couple thousand plants probably.
We should all be doing this.
Yeah, it's cost effective, and even if you're going, and I've seen a couple of things online recently. People looking for organic seeds or non-hybrids and things like that. If the cost of the one packet of seed is a little expensive, you realize even if there's only 15 seeds in there, you want 6 plants. Your neighbor wants 6 plants. You still got 3 seeds left. That you can split the cost.
Wow. Now, do the seed companies produce seeds that produce plants that produce seeds that you can use?
If it's an heirloom. Okay. Yeah, if it's an heirloom.
And some of them, they've purposely modified them so that they can't produce?
It's not that they will not produce. It just may not come true to seed.
Okay.
It may not be the exact same character.
Heirloom
means that these are... They are the ones. There's no changes have been done with them, whether or not it's by cross pollination or anything like that.
Where are the seeds in the lettuce plant? Where are they?
They flower. It'll come up with a flower spike out of the middle of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if it gets too hot, they do.
So if you knew what you were doing, and you do,
you can collect some
seeds.
of your own seed. Right. Right.
We are almost at the end, and I do have a $20 gift certificate to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, and I'd like to give it away.
That'd be nice.
And I guess I'll give it to, because I don't have a question, the first person who calls up and says, I'm in the garden with Carol Ann.
There you go.
If you say that, you'll get a $20 gift certificate to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery. Do they sell vegetables there?
I know they have in the past. I'm not sure how much they do sell of them, but I know in the springtime they usually carry them. They've probably got some here for fall as well.
All right, so call right now, 622-9622. If you're the first person who says, I'm in the garden with Carol Ann, then you will get a $20 gift certificate to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery. 3 people trying. Let's take one of them. Good morning. You're on the air. You got to say what you got to say, I guess.
I'm in the garden with Caroline.
That was easy. You got it. You got it. Who's this?
Robin.
Robin. Hey,
all right.
Robin.
Hey.
Well, Robin, you got a, what do you call it? A $20 gift certificate to
Bob Wines.
Trying to push buttons and everything else here. Let me get this new song going. Robin, thank you. Do you know where we are?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got to come down to Paddock Mall.
I listen to you every Tuesday.
You got to come to Paddock Mall to pick up your gift certificate.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. It'll be waiting for you. Carolyn, that was fun. Thank you.
That was. Thanks.
All right. We'll be back. We'll see you next week, Carolyn.
See you next week.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. If the outbreak isn't contained, West Africa could see up to 10,000 new Ebola cases per week in 2 months, according to the World Health Organization.
8,914 cases are the number today. We will go over 9,000 cases this week.
WHO Assistant Director General Dr. Bruce Aylward. President Obama meets this afternoon with the defense chiefs of 20 nations about the fight against Islamic State terrorists in Iraq and Syria. Some Iraqi militias are taking matters into their own hands.
The human rights group Amnesty International are accusing the Shiite-led government in Baghdad of sanctioning war crimes, claiming that with support from the Iraqi government, the country's Shiite militias have abducted and killed scores of Sunni civilians in retaliation for ISIS attacks.
Fox News Radio's Emily Wither. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Let's get down to business. You don't travel too often for work, but when you do, you want to stay where you know you'll be taken care of. That's where Choice Hotels comes in. We have everything you need to keep you on top of your game, like free hot breakfast for that much-needed morning boost, free internet to keep you in touch with home base, and a generous loyalty program so you can earn great rewards. Stay for business at Choice Hotels and book now at choicehotels.com. Great endings begin here. Amenities vary by location.
500 coffees, $10. 500 coffees, $10.
One word, decaf. When I hear 500 of anything for $10, I tend to stay far away. There is one exception, though. Right now, Vistaprint is offering 500 business cards for $9.99. Just go to Vistaprint.com. With their premium paper stocks and professionally designed templates, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed.
Yowza, that's amazing!
What she said.
Go to Vistaprint.com today and enter this promo code at checkout, 2211.
Today in Florida Ag News from a Southeast Ag Net, well, the Sunbelt Ag Expo officially kicks off today as the 37th annual event runs through Thursday at Spence Field in Moultrie, Georgia. Their executive director, Chip Blaylock, says while they have already harvested some of the corn and soybeans, there will still be a lot of harvesting to see.
We're looking forward to doing cotton harvesting, peanut harvesting. We're going to be running corn combine and soybean combines during the show. I tell you what, our hay really looks good. The September rain has really brought the hay on, and we're going to have great hay crop for the hay demos this year, and with our tillage demonstrations, the driving ranges that we have in the fields.
And Blaylock said there is one addition they will have to this year's field demos.
One of the additions to the field demos this year is our UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, some known as drones. We'll be running right behind our farm shop at 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock daily, doing demonstrations showing this technology that has the potential to revolutionize crop scouting, make us more efficient, make us where we can actually fly those unmanned aerial vehicles over the crops, take a look at them, download that information that we take a look at, and pinpoint weak areas in the field. And where we don't have to walk the whole field, we can go walk to those areas and see if it's insects or weeds or viruses or fungus, too much water, too little water. So, it's cutting-edge technology all over our demonstrations in the fields this year. And we're going to have Krista Harden, Deputy Secretary of Agriculture, United States Department of Agriculture, coming in and make remarks, and she will cut the ribbon on the grand opening for the show.
The 37th annual Sunbelt Ag Expo runs October 14th through 16th in Moultrie, Georgia. To learn more, go to our website at southeastagnet.com. Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information,